Good afternoon and welcome to our June Keys Penguin Habitat. My name is Frankie and I'm an aviculturist here at the Aquarium of the Pacific. And right now we're doing our third and final feed of the day. We are nearing the end of this feed, but right now I'm offering some herring and capelin to our birds. Right now I'm feeding 2, maybe 3 pieces of herring to Anderson. And he's decided that was enough for him, and we mark down every single piece of food that every bird eats every single day, and that helps us to really track each and every individual, and then it allows us to monitor the colony as a whole. We do have 23 Magellanic penguins here. Most are pretty young, under the age of 7. We raised 13 Magellanic penguin chicks here. And then other birds came from other facilities, and 4 of those birds, Robbie, Roxy, Kate, and Avery, are Brazilian rescues. Naturally, you can find Magellanic penguins along the coastlines of Chile and Argentina, but those 4 penguins, Kate, Avery, Robbie, and Roxy, were found in a group of about 30 birds in northern Brazil, which is way too far out of their way. And about 16 of them were deemed non-releasable once they were rescued. And we were able to take in those 4 while the rest of the birds went to different facilities across the Institution of Zoos and Association of Zoos and Aquariums. Sorry about that. And so with that, all 4 of those birds have bred and had several offspring. D is one of them. She's a Roxy chick. Roxy and Floyd are mates. And if you take a look around our habitat, we have 9 burrows for 18 of our birds. And yes, I mentioned we have 23 birds here. So a few of them are pretty young and haven't paired up yet, but they're getting pretty close to that age. So D is one of those young ones. Admiral, Gats is in the water. We have Fisher and Astaire and Cleo and Wally. None of those birds have paired up, and those would be the ones who, in a couple of years, they'll be ready to take over a burrow and maybe find a mate of their own. Here we go, take it. Each and every bird has a very specific way of eating, so sometimes it takes me a second to get paddles to take her fish. Some birds, like Robbie, has to have his feet in the water when he's eating. Patsy likes to take the fish from you and eat it on her own. Avery here, oh, Patsy's taking that one. Avery here likes you to kind of, oh, Patsy's taking 4. 3. We try not to feed the gulls, but every once in a while it does happen because they're very diligent. And I think there are 2 nearby, including that one right here. But since that gull scared away some of the birds, I'm going to take this moment to write down all the fish that I just fed out. So right now we are in our molting season. And that means that these birds are getting ready to replace all of their feathers. They have about 75 feathers per square inch. So this is a really stressful time for them. We have to make sure that all of them are getting everything that they need to go through this molt. It could take about 3 days to push out all of the old feathers. That's a couple million feathers per bird. And then it'll take another 5 or 6 weeks for them to reorganize all of their feathers so that they're nice and waterproof for their next migration season. Magellanic penguins have a very specific cycle, so their migration season is about 2,500 miles, or in our hemisphere, the months of October, maybe November through February. So they're in the water all the time, easily spooked, and so we want to make sure that they have enough nutrients to go through their molt. When these birds are molting, they don't have access to the water because they've lost. Well, they can get in the water, but they've lost all of their waterproofing, so when they get in the water, they won't do so well. So they're actually on land a whole lot. So in their natural habitat, they wouldn't have access to the fish that they would normally be eating. Here at the Aquarium of the Pacific and at other facilities, we are able to give them some fish, but in the wild, that's not the case. So they bulk up, they get really heavy, and they live on that energy as they're going through that 5 or 6 week period of molting. So even though D here is fully molted, and so are Wally and Cleo, who are both in the water right now, they're actually spending well, she is anyway, spending these next couple of days and even a week for the other two, really making sure all their feathers are perfectly placed. You may see a bird take their beak and dip it into their backside right around here where I'm pointing on D, and that's where their uripygio gland is. That gland is an oil gland or preen gland, and that's where they dip their beak, which is specialized to hook onto every single one of their feathers and just place them perfectly so that they can be in the water for an entire year after that molt. I think we are just about done feeding. Sometimes the birds just... Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Sometimes the birds do come up and they don't actually take any food, so that's usually a good sign that they are not hungry. I'm going to try one more time with Floyd right here. See if he takes it from me. I'm going to go ahead and say that we are done with this particular feed. I want to thank you all so much for coming out today. If anyone does have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask anyone that's in a blue aquarium polo. I'm going to be up here for a little bit, so if you want to shout loud enough and I can hear you, I'll answer a question. If not, I'll be out in a little bit to answer those. Thank you so much for coming out and have a great day.